guys, keep your dirty driving habits back home.
Do the Kannadigas really hate outsiders? That's my question.
No, not really. I mean, as long as now keep your driving habits back home.
Back home, yes.
Adapt to your city that you have embraced to be your home.
Right. So first we are paying the road tax, which I said ki chalo 20%. Okay. Apart from that, when you go on a highway, you also pay toll tax.
Yeah, that's central.
That is central. So now imagine.
Mysore guy has got no clue about a Bangalore disciplined traffic. But he drives like, like he's driving in a small town.
Mysore. I really hate these kind of people who feel that they have some kind of special power that they can jump the queue and they can just overtake and they can reach their office faster than others. Others are not fools. People who are on a queue, they are not fools.
So what was, first of all, we do roads which are just plastered, it's just painted. Our roads are painted. The asphalt is painted.
And these days, a lot of heavy vehicle movements are there.
And our roads are not meant for those kind of 10 tonners.
Target the Swiggies and Zomatos and outstation drivers, and I'm gonna be killed on the road by one of these guys in very near future.
Already outstation guys are already frustrated because people are treating them as outside guys.
No, I don't.
And have you gone through those Instagram posts and where people like say that go just move out from our street.
No, I would.
We don't want you.
No.
We don't want you guys to come here.
No. I would never do that because I hashtag myself as a global citizen, and I cannot encourage people to move out of my own city. No, I will not. I am not privy to that at all.
Right. I have a strong reason why the people do that. One reason might be because of the excessive road tax that is being collected in Bangalore. If you compare it to any other states in India, they are charging like the amount is 20%, Dipakda, where you see other states they charge about 8 to 12 to 13%.
So my only question is, where's the money going?
Exactly. So that's the question. When Bangalore,
where is the funding going? Where is the money going? Panchayat says, they have got funding for ABC, but look at our roads.
हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल विद न्यू वीडियो। सो फिर से जो है हम लोग एक पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हैं दीपक दा के साथ, लेकिन इस बार जो है मोटरसाइकिलिंग से अलावा कुछ और बातें कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि देखो आप लोगों ने भी बोला था कि यार दीपक दा की जो काइंड ऑफ डायलॉग डिलीवरीज है उसमें जोश है और बहुत सारे लोग जो है गर्म भी हो जाते हैं। तो मैंने सोचा यार फिर से जो है दीपक दा से एक्चुअली ऐसा हुआ कि यार कल इवनिंग को मैंने एक रील और कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट जो है शेयर किया था, तो एक थोड़ा सा आजकल जो बैंगलोर में बहुत ज़्यादा रोड रेज हो रहा है, तो हमें लगा कि यार इसके ऊपर डिस्कस करते हैं। सुबह ऐसे दीपक दा ऐसे पिंग किए थे कि यार क्या हुआ, मतलब तुम्हारे साथ कुछ हुआ क्या? मैंने बोला नहीं मेरे साथ नहीं, कोई तो था जिसके साथ हुआ था, तो मैंने शेयर किया है। देन वी स्टार्टेड डिस्कसिंग, देन मुझे लगा कि यार नहीं, इस टॉपिक पे जो है बात करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। So again, welcome back, Deepak Da.
Thanks, Gulu. It's always good to talk with you because I believe you and me both have a same kind of an outspoken attitude.
Absolutely.
There's no mincing of words.
Right.
जो दिल में है वो बोल दिया बस, जो है सो है। अभी लोगों को whether they want to really absorb that as a reality और बस यार ये दो लोग बैठ के बकबक कर रहे हैं, that is up to them. But the reality is that we see these things, but we don't want to raise our voice.
Right.
And unfortunately, when we want to raise our voice, there's nobody to support it. So there's so many things, but I think as we take these talk forward, I'm sure we'll cover a lot of realistic things because I don't believe in exaggerating because there's no point in getting into this clickbait kind of a thing, but these are hard facts, and I hope that people will ये पूरा जो जितना भी मिनट का हम लोग बात करेंगे लोग समझेंगे, क्योंकि these are things that you and me and anybody else who's seeing would have felt at one point or the other.
Definitely.
What have you done about it? These are things that I would really love to cover.
So Deepak da, कहाँ से शुरू करेंगे? Where can we start it?
Well, I think the problems in Bangalore have evolved over a decade or more. It is not that कल परसों नहीं आया. It has not happened in the last couple of days or couple of months or couple of years. It has evolved.
Right.
Now I have been a resident of Bangalore since 1976. 76, and I've seen this city going from one of a very sober a city which used to be more of a retirement kind of friendly. To a hustle bustle of an IT corridor or IT Silicon Valley of our country. We are nowhere close to a Silicon Valley of the original Silicon Valley, but we are trying to race to that kind of a place. Just by having the Forbes 500 companies in the city doesn't make us a Silicon Valley, right? I mean, we need to have the right kind of infrastructure. But unfortunately, when the ITES boom started back in 97, 98, I guess then the Chief Minister, Mr. S.M. Krishnaji, was head on with Mr. Chandrababu Naidu from Hyderabad. Both were vying to get these companies set shop in Bangalore and Hyderabad. I used to work with a financial company, back-end operations, wherein I know for a fact that we lost the head office of that financial company to Hyderabad because Chandrababu Naidu's secretaries and his team was more aggressive in reaching out.
They're like more inviting.
Management, yeah. So the head office went to Hyderabad, but the back office operations, which would eventually become one of the biggest in the world, landed in Bangalore. So it was a win for Bangalore when it came to the number of people that would eventually work for this company.
Right.
And likewise, so many other companies started setting shop on our outer ring road. But where we even geared up to invite so many people,
right,
so many people from around our own country, today the so-called migrant community, I wouldn't really want to use that word, but people always look for greener pastures, and people from you come from Orissa,
right,
there are people who have come in from within our own state like Mangalore and Shimoga, and people have made Bangalore their home.
Right.
But does Bangalore really had that bandwidth to accommodate you guys? I don't think so.
Right.
So the government missed out on certain priorities. I mean, I'm pretty vocal about this because what is the first thing that you want in a place which is inviting so many people? You need to have the infrastructure. And the infrastructure includes your roads.
Absolutely.
That's where it starts.
Right.
So we didn't have roads. Did we pay priority to just by creating an outer ring road, which was probably 10-15 kilometers?
Right.
That's not the end of it, right? I mean, the outer ring road. I mean, S.M. Krishnaji's vision of from that central Silk Board to wherever that 65 or 45 kilometer ring road went about. There's more to that. What about the peripherals that would include, connected to this outer ring road? We failed. We failed miserably. Encroachments. There's,
land encroachments.
I mean, land encroachments is one bit of it, and that, judicial, rigmarole around these things is another bit of it. I know for a fact that these lakes were connected. There was a time when the Madiwala Lake overflowed, and there were so many apartments that up to I think water went almost up to the first floor.
Same with Whitefield as well.
Exactly. So these lakes, when Madiwala Lake overflowed, it would eventually connect to the Agara
other
Lake.
lakes. But
that
there
is the
there's
original
no other lakes.
Rajakaluve. That is what like our ancestral people, whoever designed this, had that Rajakaluve wherein that would accommodate the flow of water from one lake into another. Agara Lake overflows, goes into Belandur. Belandur Lake overflows, goes to Vartur.
That connection was there.
If you see, these are the areas that have been encroached, or the kind of real estate development that has happened in this belt. It's phenomenal.
Dipakda, you have visited my apartment, right?
Oh, no.
the moment Dipakda visited my apartment and said, "What the hell is this?
Yeah.
This is like concrete jungle."
Absolutely.
They created a concrete jungle, and especially that Vartur and Whitefield patch is absolutely a concrete jungle.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with this comes a lot of misuse of power. The local people who have been involved in the village developments like Panchayat and Zilla Parishad, the development, they all took the, these guys, I'm not sure, I don't want to question their educational qualifications, but I sure hope that these guys are qualified to be seated in that chair and take some good decisions. Has that happened? By looking at the development, I don't think that's anywhere close to what a Silicon City needs. Now, I remember back in 2010 or 11, there was a Decongest Bangalore that was driven by the Times of India.
Achha.
They had rolled out, inviting citizens to voice out their opinions in giving suggestions. How do we decongest Bangalore? Remember, Bulu, ITES started 1998 onwards. Between 1998 to 2010, Bangalore was already choking. Right? And that is a time when Times of India rolled out a initiative to ask the public, the citizens, because the governance has got limited knowledge. And I will be very clear in this
Right,
because it's such a vast area for them to govern. So who's the grassroots? It is you and me.
Right.
Now, unless we voice our opinions, the governance is not going to look at it because they've got 1001 things to look at.
Absolutely.
The minuscule things get easily missed out, and those minuscule things are the one that really puts a roadblock. And I'll be challenged on this. If somebody asks me, I can go on and deliberate this and prove my point, but that's not the point here. When Decongest Bangalore was rolled out as an initiative from the Times of India, I remember placing 4 or 5 suggestions, out of which, I think 4 suggestions got printed. And I have a link to that. So first one of my suggestions was, since I was working with a financial institution, and I used to work in this office in Salarpuria Soft Zone, Outer Ring Road. And I remember I was in business support, and we had 2.5 floors of office space.
Okay.
And I think we had about 200 parking spaces, car spaces. And each parking space was a paid parking space.
Okay.
I think it was about 1250 rupees or something like that.
Per parking.
So you do the math. 1250 into 200 parking space was over and above the 2.5 floors.
Right. 2.5 lakh per month.
2.5 floors and 200 parking spaces. Now, my suggestion to the HR was that 1250 rupees, like if you are an employee, if I was an employee, if I drive my car, I should be made liable to be paid for it.
Okay. But that would kind of discourage the owner to
bring the car because he's driving, I'm driving alone, right?
Absolutely.
But HR took a step back because it's part of the package.
Right.
HR guys are, I call them harassing rascals. I mean, shoot me down, no problem. But they don't look at the wider scenario of these things, right? I mean, you lure a guy to work for you with so many promises. I mean, that's part of the deal. So let's not get too finicky about it. I mean, they're good at what they're doing.
Right.
But look at the general picture. It's not just about your company, right? It's about so many other people working for so many other companies, using the infrastructure which is highly limited. So for you to really look at on a broader perspective, you really need to know, you need to work in tandem with so many other companies.
Right.
So you guys need to connect with each of the HR guys and say, hey, do you think we can remove this privilege of, the cars and free parking space? The free parking space, in case it's withdrawn, remember, if my company stops paying 200 parking spaces, that's 200 cars less.
Yes, absolutely.
And Outer Ring Road is an ocean. There are so many of them. Now, how do you compensate the travel? Reach out to the BMTC guys. They are sitting with a fleet of Volvo buses.
Right.
Reach out to the chairman and say, hey, Mr. Chairman, I'm giving you 5,000 tickets every month.
Right.
And that's across my offices, wherever they are in the city. And I'm getting you 500 tickets. Can I bargain for 1,000 rupee per month ticket? Why would he say no?
Absolutely.
He would embrace it because
it is a guaranteed business.
I'm talking about one company, Bulu, here.
Right.
Look at the bigger picture. I leave you to even imagine how big the volume, the scale of this can be, right? You look at the number of people who will place their cars at home. 1 or 2 days is okay. 1 or 2 days is okay. No problem. You don't need to. And then you encourage them to use the public transport.
Right.
Now, how we're going to compensate the flexibility? Now, all these guys are driving solo, single occupancy in their cars, right? So your limited infrastructure is already clogged by single occupancy drivers.
Right.
Have these guys not drive the cars during these swanky cars, right? I mean, today people, bigger the car, better the prestige. I mean,
Like
at least you drive it out of Bangalore, but then I've seen guys who just invest
for
on
office, they
cars
use a
to
bigger
just
car.
go to the office and back.
Right.
So it's pathetic. And these guys are just not driving, right? They're on a call, and some people are having their laptop in the passenger seat.
Absolutely.
It's multitasking when you're driving. You're not just focusing.
True.
Right? So the window, let's say between 8:30 in the morning to 11 in the morning, nobody is driving solo.
So solo passengers are totally.
I will take an example of your Delhi governance. They brought in the even and odd numbers.
Right.
but that can be manipulated, that can be pilfered. So the best thing is, like, भैया आप solo जा रहे हो, आप नहीं जाओगे. Just like, like, see, there are certain pockets in the city wherein your trucks are stopped.
Yes.
Because it's a truck.
Okay, so you can stop the.
You stop these guys. भैया आप solo हो, लगे रहो यहाँ पे.
So basically, they are left with the option of carpooling. Is it how?
Carpooling is one, definitely. It is between their colleagues. You and me are colleagues. We can definitely work it out how we're gonna do that. It's it builds a camaraderie between. You don't have to shop around for carpooling, right? It just takes. I mean, bhaiya, in case we are able to go for a drink on a Friday evening, boss, we can do carpooling. That's as I can hit that bullseye there.
Right.
But what I'm trying to tell you is 8:30 to 11
time basically.
You tell this BMTC chairman to roll out additional buses during that time, wherein I can walk that 1 kilometer to the bus stand, take an AC bus with my pass, which is issued to me by my HR, and then drive or take the bus to the office, get off, walk that another 300, 400 meters, 500 meters, 600 meters. What it improves your health as well. Let me put it that way. Today we have come to a stage where like we are forced to walk because there is no place for you to ride or drive. My car is in a hood, my 2 bikes are in a hood. I don't feel like taking them out.
True.
There's no fun. I mean, it is so stressful.
Unless you have seen my recent reel where you jump on the sides of the road.
That's become a very common affair. Okay, so these are 2 things. The third thing is, and this is something that like all the affluent people in this city should realize. If you go to Koramangala, I mean, this is just, I'm giving you one pocket, and it's all over our city. Go to Koramangala BDA complex. That entire region is 100 by 100 sites, 80 by 80, 60 by 100, big sites, big people.
Old people living from.
Absolutely, and like these are all like very wealthy individuals. Absolutely. So they have 2 cars inside and 4 cars outside. And it's parked on a BBMP road.
Yes.
Now, Bullu, now you tell me, you bought an apartment.
Right.
How many parking spaces do you have?
So because the charge was 3 lakh, so based on your requirement, you'll pay and buy.
Exactly. So at least you have 1 or 2.
So I have 2 because I have motorcycles. So
perfect. Yeah. So you have 2 parking space for which you have paid 6 lakhs.
Right.
Now these BBMP guys have done a beautiful footpath on which you and me can walk, but we can't because why? These cars are parked on these roads.
Absolutely.
And I challenge you. I mean, like I'm not trying to create a sensation here. You walk in Koramangala, you can't walk on those footpaths.
That's true.
Now, why can't the BBMP guys don't discourage people from investing? Let them buy as many cars as they want. There's nothing because it's a chain of economy that we don't want to disrupt.
Right.
But what we can do is charge these guys at least 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh for parking their cars out of the footpath.
Absolutely.
I don't see police stopping these guys because these are rich guys.
Yes.
They can make a phone call.
Absolutely.
And the cop can be transferred. I mean, these are things that you and me will. It's not a new thing that we don't hear, right? We hear this all the time. A cop raises his voice, he gets moved out.
Transferred. That's true.
So tell the BBMP guys, bhaiya, we have done this road. It's not for you to park. Will these guys have the guts? They have to generate that guts and charge these guys whatever, and use that funds for better management of the roads.
Absolutely.
Now I live in this village, and if you see my road, it's pathetic.
Deepak, this increasing of traffic, one is definitely because number of cars are more. Second, because of the road conditions also. When the roads have big potholes or the roads are damaged, you see 20 minutes of rain, you won't believe this whole Vartur part, no? The water is clogged across the places, and then because of that, there's lot of traffic. I mean, the moment it rains, you can't cross places like Vartur or Gunju.
Do you know why? One, there is no proper engineering on these roads.
Right.
You are just asphalting the roads. Next, I got to blame you and me because we look educated, but we are not. We are absolutely even more lesser than the uneducated guys, because you and me will roll down the window and throw out the chips packet, empty covers. We will throw out the biscuit covers.
Garbage.
The worst thing is like that Vimal and Pan Parag and whatnot. Like you just do this.
Throw it.
Why do you do that? Why do you do that? And where do you think that garbage is going? I mean, do we have a proper garbage collection system? In pockets of the city we have. Very recently, in the last 15-20 days, my village is also started. He's supposed to be coming once in 2 days, but he doesn't come in once in 4 days. So that's a different issue. It's got a niggling. It's an execution problem.
Right.
So we're gonna get there. We're gonna do that. But at least we have started somewhere. In spite of that, there are people who are staying up the road, who are living in layouts, and these are all guys who are educated, working in some of the top IT companies. I have seen them myself throwing. They've stopped by that culvert there, rolled down the windows,
And they
the
throw.
garbage is dumped.
That is true.
Now that is going to stop. Educated masses should be re-educated about these
Re-educated,
finer
true.
things. Engineering, in my travels, I have come across L&T, Larsen and Toubro, India, building roads for countries like Morocco, building roads for country like Ivory Coast,
They are the top.
building
roads.
building roads for countries where if they are able to go into such countries and build roads, top of the class, brilliant roads. Why can't they build it in my own country, man?
The issue is not just the construction
It's
company.
humongous.
Yes.
It's percentage.
Yes.
I mean, I'll be vocal.
Yes.
I mean, I know my classmate. I mean, I dared him to come and speak to me on camera.
Right.
He said, boss, it's my family, it's my bread and butter. 23%, 25%. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Right.
So eventually what's going to happen? You will get potholes, boss.
Absolutely.
And now there are memes going around where in potholes, like some people are catching fish. The pothole is so big that
So big
you
that
can
you
do
can catch
fishing. So that's something that we as a country, I live in a village where, as I said, we've lived in this place for last 15 years, and it was a nice and peaceful place. But now it's chaotic. It's the urban hustle is right outside my gate.
Right.
I mean, that is not what was expected.
But Deepak, there are multiple things. One is the road infrastructure, of course. If you would have observed after COVID, the number of cars have increased like anything. I think now it has become like 3 or 4 times what it used to be. So obviously a place like this, will not be able to cater those kind of...
Exactly, I agree. See, for a city like Bangalore, Sarjapur Road and the Outer Ring Road are the most notorious roads.
Right.
Surprisingly, when I go into that part of the town, which is Rajajinagar or Basangudi, or for that matter, Vijayanagar, there is not such a hustle there. That's still a orthodox Bangalore.
Right.
This is a new Bangalore.
Yes.
Now, new Bangalore is created by new migrants who have made Bangalore our home.
Right.
Now, I've seen a lot of, not that I'm that good a driver. I will take some blame myself, because when in Rome, you have to be a Roman. So if a HR26 or a AP39 or a KL14 drives like the way that he drives back there, boss, I can roll up my sleeves too, but where does that leave you and me? We don't want to stoop down to those levels, right? And eventually what happens is, the frustration builds up.
Right.
So the frustration is so high that, the minute you see a outstation vehicle,
you start abusing.
no matter how good or bad that guy is, that frustration just blurts out.
Right.
Right? And that's exactly what is happening. If you see in the very recent past, a lot of people in this village or in Sarjapur Road,
Right. The road rages.
the road rage is there. The locals who used to be here, who are residents of this pocket, the minute they see me or anybody, Bhaiya kya chahiye? It's like the dialogue is always in Hindi.
Right.
It is the Hindi, the Kannada is gone. Which means, we are adaptive. We've really adapted to the change.
Right.
But how many locals have eventually made it a practice to learn the local language? You try, do a hopeless mistake,
Right.
no problem, but it's an attempt that can bring down a lot of conflict.
Right.
The minute you don't speak at all, then you're cornered. I've seen a friend who's also a rider who's come from Calcutta. He's just 3 months. And he's learned, the 2-3 lines which can actually dramatically change or just kill the conflict in no time.
Right.
I would encourage people to do that. I mean, it's just a suggestion.
No, I am Deepak Da. I learned Kannada in 30 days, 30 times. But I keep forgetting because I have friends like Abhijit and all. Even if I try to talk in Kannada, then he speaks in English. This is a practical problem.
You would say, like, don't kill the language, yaar, chalo Hindi mein baat kar rahe, English mein.
So, see, honestly,
But then the effort is towards making you comfortable in whichever way. So he's a local guy. So when he thinks that you are not able to speak that Kannada, but I'm sure he appreciates your effort.
Absolutely.
We don't want the governments to impose that, like you need to have 75% or whatever percentage of Kannada votes.
Right, yes.
You need to have Kannada speaking people, We don't need that. I mean, technically, if you ask me,
No, see,
it should be on merit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are good at it, boss, you get the job.
I always believe that wherever you travel or you stay there for a long time, it is always better to pick up the local language, because don't be a foreigner at that particular place, right?
Yeah.
The moment you speak local language, people also kind of appreciate. They also get that connect. Okay, they also appreciate you that you are trying. That's absolutely fine. But at the same time, we should not force something to do.
Absolutely. I think force is really not required. It is
for everything.
It's voluntary.
No, even I would say, Deepak, that it is not just Kannada, forcing someone to speak Kannada. It is also forcing someone to speak Hindi also.
Yeah.
So you might have seen these cab drivers, they become very angry. A lot of videos you might have seen where they talk to the passenger in very rude way, that if you are in Karnataka, you speak Kannada. So maybe we are just observing part of the story. The other part of the story is that we have also forced them to talk in Hindi. And if you see, if they are asking us to speak in Kannada forcefully and you are asking them to speak in, so where would
it is indeed a vicious cycle. And I think the only way to kind of diffuse that kind of a situation is be multilingual.
Right.
Because, I hashtag myself as a global citizen.
Right.
Because I believe that language should not be a bar between you and me.
Absolutely.
Language should not be a bar between me and the place of whichever state that I want to stay, whichever country that I want to stay. It's like, we always refer to Singapore being beautiful, the roads and infrastructure. I'll give you an anecdote of my travels of 1994 when I visited US during my circumnavigation around the world on the ESD. I remember Chicago had 80 exits. The city of Chicago, you just can ask your friend, which exit do I? You take the exit 24, I'll be down there. And as we were riding from LA to San Francisco, like huge 8-lane expressways, huge. And this time, most recently when I went there, I could see 12. In some places, 16.
Right.
So they have also adapted the expansion of number of vehicles. In spite of that, they do have traffic jam, but nothing like what
we have in Bangalore.
Sarjapur Road, the biggest challenge is, like a U-turns.
Right.
And it is a completely mismanaged road, and everybody is like, the temper is there. Slightest thing.
That frustration is there. So Deepak, talking about the recent, as we saw yesterday's video also, these kind of things are happening more nowadays. If you have observed, especially the Sarjapura Road, the Vartur side, most of these places, you see that sometimes, it is not just a local versus non-local. If your motorcycle or your car has a Karnataka number plate, then I think it is very difficult to identify someone as a local or non-local, especially if somebody is chasing. So I feel there are like multiple kind of frustrations. One might be that because these guys, they come from some different cities and they are doing good. Can that be also a reason?
See, one thing, if I have to be a devil's advocate here, having traveled into all corners of the country, I believe, and you can shoot me down, but prove me wrong before that. Your driving etiquette has to change drastically. You need to adapt it to a city.
Right.
You are coming from a smaller, tier 2 or a tier 3 city or a village in search of a job into Bangalore.
Right.
Please keep your riding and driving habits of that village or tier 2, tier 3 back there.
And adapt to the city where you are.
You need to maintain to your lane, right? Things go wrong when you switch lane without an indicator.
Right.
And this is across. This is not limited to Bangalore.
Not just that, Deepak. So 2 days back, I saw a vehicle which was a vehicle from north. So there was a line, there was a big queue. This is exactly in Gunjur village, okay? And one part of the road is totally blocked. And this vehicle overtakes all the vehicle and is trying to occupy the other part of the road.
And Ravi Shankar bus is coming.
Did you see that?
HR26, yeah. First thing is, I saw the
Well, see,
HR26.
the moment I saw that, no, I immediately commented.
Yeah.
Okay, I really hate these kind of people who feel that they have some kind of special power that they can jump the queue and they can just overtake and they can reach their office faster than others. Others are not fools.
Yeah.
People who are on a queue, they are not fools.
So what happens because of that one HR26?
Exactly. Every HR vehicle is targeted.
Why do you think I remember HR26? There are
Yes.
so many HRs in Bangalore. But why is that HR26? I don't know which part of the state, country they are from. But why do I remember this HR26? Because they are all over Bangalore.
Right.
And they are the ones who are driving like nuts. So it kind of imbibes in your mind, like KL14 or AP39.
The moment you see them on road,
I need to be cautious. Right. I mean, it's not like I would like to ride or drive like them, but I need to be cautious because they are unpredictable.
Right.
So that one thing I believe, let's not talk about only these things, but the generic issue is, I blame the likes of Deepinder Goyal, the Zomato guy or Swiggy guy or whoever he is. It's just not enough for you to make a startup. You need to control the quality of people that you hire.
Absolutely.
Sarjapur Road, first of all, I'm strictly averse towards the idea of you ordering food at home. You need to step out or cook at home.
Right.
Don't ask delivery boys. See, they have come in from villages.
Right.
They have zero clue about Bangalore traffic and the nuances of the etiquettes of using these roads. And you see these guys, and now the sudden thing that you have, what's that? Cloud canteens.
Cloud kitchen.
Cloud kitchens.
Right.
And they are, they're 3-4 on this road, and you will see at least 50 guys with Zulus and whatnot, and they don't have a U-turn
and
anywhere.
These guys, and Deepak, these guys, they have got the target of delivering the food at such time.
Who allowed Blinkit in 10 minutes, man?
Right.
Why?
It's a life threat thing because they ride so hard, so rudely they ride.
Ambulances don't get 10 minutes.
Right.
So why should Blinkit get it?
Exactly.
That's my point. Right? We as a, I call myself a young timer because I'm pre-2000 born. So, which means that I'm not that technologically techie guy. I would prefer, I don't have a Zomato or a whatever food ordering app. Worst case scenario, sometimes my daughter tells me, Dad, can I order something? I said, no, let's go out. It was a kilometer out here.
Shall we order something? I said, no. We'll need to make something.
Yeah, we kind of, go out or, I don't know why. It really beats my weirdest imagination as well. And unfortunately, you are driving these people to recklessly drive on the road, take to the wrong sides, and you don't even know, what you're trying to overtake, and right in front of you, there is this guy. So I've had a case.
I have several cases.
World over, I've driven and I've not put my bike down anywhere. And HSR layout, I went and, it was a head-on crash. And I think, I can only thank my expertise. I swerved the bike at the last minute, and the oncoming vehicle hit my fork. Otherwise, I would have lost my right leg. And shadow facts. I remember this very well. It's about 2-3 years back. And I was not able to, the impact was there. 15-20 days, I was bedridden. Who's going to answer these things, right? True. It's no fault of mine. He's in my lane. You follow lane, you get jacked. You try to follow somebody's trying to squeeze in from the left. You look at these people. Now that we are on a podcast with you, and you have a far better reach, and I think I should make my voice heard through your platform. Just simply sit back at a signal and watch the kind of idiots who are jumping and standing on a zebra, if there is a zebra crossing at all. If there is no, then like a person wanting to go right, this guy who has blocked the road that goes, and this is a typical scenario at that Manipal hospital in Bellandur Junction.
Yes.
And it can be across any city wherein you have a right cut. The guy wanting to go right will be standing on the left side of the road, blocking traffic which has already got a green to keep moving ahead.
I think the traffic sense has gone really bad. in these years? Because see, one thing I appreciate with Bangalore traffic is that you don't see a lot of honking and all. Because Deepak, if you go to Hyderabad or for that matter any other city, I've seen a lot of cities, continuous that honking thing is there.
Hyderabad, I can agree. I think Bangalore is still very close to Hyderabad.
But
just back from
honking, at least that honking part, I have not seen so much of honking here.
I'm just back from a trip to Bombay, and I believe there was a signal where it, I think, the higher the decibel of honking,
Right.
it stays red. There was something in the news where like the minute you have a green,
Right.
the first line would usually go.
all
And
that.
honking, in the West and Europe and all, like it's an offense. I mean, you honk only to shout at the other guy,
Right.
and he has a right to come and ask you, why did you honk?
Right.
So when I did my round the world trip, like add-on horns, they are not existent anymore.
Okay.
They were my sponsors. I had to literally remove the wires because whenever I turn my bike, my knee
it
used to
touch.
and kick. And those are big, loud horns.
Oh my God.
So, and a couple of times, like I saw these people turning back from their windows, like, why are you honking? And then I realized that, like I'm shouting
Offense.
at them. So if I'm doing something wrong, you have a right to honk,
Right.
but otherwise please don't, because if there is a red, I'm staying and so are you. But if it's a green, please allow me to move and then you can move too.
Right.
And in Bombay, I believe there is a particular signal where, like in case the guy starts honking, that's gonna turn from green to red.
Oh, is it?
I think, yeah, something like that. So the more the noise, it stays
automatically
fast.
stays.
It'll help you
Have
develop your
patience.
patience.
Have patience.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
And trust me, Bombay, of course, like it's got a fabulous public transport system in place.
Right.
And it's so cheap, I
Right.
mean, I really, even if it's just 1.5 days in Bombay,
Right.
I'm not a public transport guy, but I'm forced off late into Bangalore because there's no point in driving your own car
Right.
or riding your own. Just get into the bus and, like, be happy.
No, I don't want to take my car out during office hours and all. Only maybe.
I hope like suggestion that I gave you, if it is able to penetrate into the deeper, decision-making authorities,
Right.
they should simply, push that parking space ticket to the car owners,
Yes.
and then let's see how many people would actually want to pay the 1,250 rupees a month
Right.
and get their cars. And 1,250 was 15 years back, and probably now it's about 3,000 rupees.
Deepak, there are multiple things. There are also a lot of office complexes who do not have the facility of a cab or something. Because earlier I used to see that a lot of office they have cab facility. Let's imagine you are in Whitefield and there would be like 10 different employees in Whitefield. So they kind of hire a tempo traveler or something of that sort where they can accommodate like 10, 15, 10 or 12 people. In that case also, if you see 10 different cars are stopped at their home and they take a cab.
Yeah.
But there
Easier thing, encourage this HR. That's a classic case for them to reach out to the BMTC guys.
Right.
And I'm sure, like these companies will be in a network of similar companies.
Right.
Like, if a company has got 50 employees, they will have a network of companies who are having 50, 70, 80, 100
Right.
employees.
Right.
All it takes is for the HR to drive the,
Yes.
drive the initiative.
I think it has to be prioritized.
Absolutely. And Outer Ring Road Association is just not about roads. Boss, why do you want to shout at the governance for no roads here? At least now, look at the backup. Have a plan B in place. Discourage your employees from bringing your cars onto the roads, right? I mean, can you do that? You can.
Yes.
You don't want to. That's a different option.
Because the easy bet is making the government responsible
Absolutely,
for
for everything you can. I mean, other day I was reading a post on LinkedIn, and somebody from Sarjapur Road area is placing his comment on Mr. Tejaswi Surya's LinkedIn post. That sir, our road and blah 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 blah. Like I said, I gave him my peace of mind. First of all, we don't even know who our MP is. This region has got a different MP. It doesn't fall under Mr. Tejaswi Surya's purview.
Right.
But still, like the way Mr. Tejaswi Surya has done for his constituency is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, anybody can shoot me down and say, oh, he's been on that. No, look at his work. I mean, I am privy to his PDF, which runs into multiple pages of what has he done in the last 5 years. Absolutely phenomenal.
And a youth leader.
That makes it,
That is required.
educated youth.
Yes.
And he knows the critical and core problems
Because
of
thought
this
process,
city.
he can connect to the
Exactly. But who is our MLA? I don't know. Who's our MP? I hardly see him. What has he done for this constituency?
Right, nothing.
Boss, it can't be a specific area of your constituency, right? Constituency is a big bucket.
Right.
There's so many pockets of the city that comes under your purview. You need to spend time. You need to use your MP Lord funds to develop this.
Right.
We are happy to do some stupid bus stop, but we don't want to create a restroom, public toilets.
It's needed.
Bulu, when I went to Europe, I have swiped my card for €1 to go for a leak.
Right.
To go for a leak, I have spent €1.
Right.
And a toilet that is as good as our five-star hotels.
That's what is needed.
But I'm paying €1.
€1.
What's stopping you from charging ₹10?
Right.
Very recently, I shared a post of this Umlingla toilet. Boss, the shit is all over the place here. There's nobody to clean it.
Exactly.
I mean, you put an infrastructure, but you
don't maintain it. That's the issue. No, there is
what
also
comes into your mind, we don't maintain it.
Right.
Who is the person who was using it? It is you and me.
Right.
We go to Umlingla for a picture, like highest motorable pass. What have we done? Why do we need? Don't you think you can spare that ₹5 or ₹10 to use that restroom?
Right.
Why do you want to make it free, boss? Why do you want to again blame the governance that it's not maintained? I'm not saying I will not hold the governance. Governance will give you the facility. It is up to you and me to maintain it. And how can we maintain it? Boss, let them get. Why aren't there Sulabh Shauchalays in bus stand and all? They are
Right,
having pay and use toilet. What's stopping you from creating pay and use toilet all over the city? Why is it limited to only the bus stops?
Right.
Why do you want?
Deepak, especially in Bangalore traffic, if you have a diabetic, you are diabetic. You wanted to visit the loo.
Wear a diaper, boss. That's it. I can only recommend that.
Just imagine, Deepak, there is absolutely no place you can go. I mean, you have to hold yourself. भाई मैं जब भी घर से निकलता हूँ ना, मैं पहले खाना ठीक से खाता हूँ और सुसु करके निकलता हूँ because I know I may get stuck. And Deepak, the Vartur Road is absolutely like nightmare. Sometimes the traffic
and who's using Vartur Road? It's the schools, right?
Mainly
the highest concentration of users on Vartur and Sarjapur Road is schools.
Big buses.
And these are all international. I mean, whatever the name is, there has to be an international.
Do you even know what is the fee they charge right now?
Let's not get there.
Trust me, Deepak, there are schools they charge 1 lakh a month. 1 lakh a month, man.
And the kind of drivers, Delhi Public School, I'll make it open. I don't mind sharing this. Delhi Public School is next door. We have
nearby.
Almost, we can see each other. The bus drivers are bloody rogues. They're like, they don't care. I mean, honking like train horns. I mean, they drive it. Come 2:30, you will see a flood of buses.
Right.
And everybody is stuck at that right angle.
You reminded me. Actually, I will not cross that road by 2:30.
You can't. I mean, I plan my exit from my place. I know my timing to get out of my home is only after 11 because by which, like all the corporate employees would have gone into their cubicles. 11 o'clock to 12:30, I can go out. I can come in only after 3:30 to 4 because 4:30 these guys would be coming back from wherever they are dropping. Sarjapur Road is again a clog, and then by 5:30 the corporate crowd again starts. I mean, see, these problems are not limited. I mean, the frustration that I'm voicing out, it's not limited to Bangalore alone.
So basically, Deepak, what I understand now, you being a local guy, this is your frustration about the densely populated places and the vehicles coming from outside.
No, it's like, see,
I have this question.
Exactly,
interesting question.
I will not hesitate to say this. Until very recently, I know for a fact that the Bangalore Traffic Police used to stop people from outstation cars.
Right.
Outstation cars will either need to show their service book, which was done in whichever state or city they were from, or they had to say that they are visiting for a short term. Right. In case you're on a long term, boss, you need to pay the road tax. So that used to discourage a lot of people from driving their own state cars. But I think for some reason that I'm not aware or I'm not updated, that is no longer being done. And I don't see outstation cars being asked any questions. Or probably the rule is changed because one nation, one number or whatever. I don't know. Hence, like you see a lot of outstation cars coming in. Now, I'm not discouraging them to not get their cars. It's not that. I mean, happy. But do we have the infrastructure? Instead of you bringing your car from your state, registered, your state tax paid to that state, Is that causing our problem wherein we don't have the...
No, I definitely, Deepak Da, so I have a strong reason why the people do that. One reason might be because of the excessive road tax that is being collected in Bangalore. If you compare it to any other states in India, they are charging, like the amount is 20%, Deepak Da, where you see other states, they charge about 8 to 12 to 13%.
So my only question is, like, where's the money going?
Exactly. So that's the question. When Bangalore charging so much of money and the infrastructure is not up to mark.
Yeah.
Imagine, Deepak Da, first you pay, see for the Scorpio, the ex-showroom, I don't remember exactly, maybe about 25 lakhs or something. I paid about 4 lakh plus as the road tax. That definitely, and road tax is not something which goes to the central government, right? It is a state affair. I mean, state is always ready to decide what kind of percentage of tax. For the bike like the NX 500, 6 lakh is the ex-showroom and 1,20,000 is the clear-cut tax. About 20%. Wow. So when you pay so much of money, the infrastructure is not up to mark. Okay, and infrastructure doesn't just mean that you just fill out the potholes. It has to be expanded, right? The city itself is not prepared for it.
See, Bulu, the way I understand construction of a road is not just like asphalting that last 1 inch or 1.5 inch. It's not that way.
Right.
Now I'll circle back to my times when I was working for the financial institution, and I chose the graveyard shift because of the problem of traffic and because of I can spend more time. Night shift, and it starts at any time after 8:30. Sometimes the login is at 11:30.
Abhijit is doing graveyard shift. Okay.
The reason is you can spend more quality time with your family, and when the family is sleeping, you can go and work, and you come home, you sleep for about 4 or 5 hours, and then you still have the family around with you all the evening. So I used to see the Sarjapur road, which is now a double road. It used to be a single road.
This is way 10, 12 years back?
10, 12 years back, or probably 15. And there was no bridge on the railway gate here near Decathlon. Decathlon used to be a big tile storage shed. It was a go-down for a tile retailer. Decathlon was not Decathlon. This is even before Decathlon was born here on the Sarjapur road. The whole Sarjapur road, which is roughly around about 14 kilometers from Sarjapur to Bellandur, it was about 14 kilometers. So the stretch from the railway gate, it was a railway gate.
Oh, there was a gate. There was no bridge.
It was a railway gate. So railway gate to Domasandra, which is roughly around about 3.5, 4 kilometers, or probably 5 kilometers, whatever. It was given to a company called GVR.
Okay, GVR.
GVR, which is in Anekal. The way the road was built was, he used to have hundreds of trucks pulling out the existing road down to the earth.
Right.
All the old layers and whatever was underneath the layer was completely shaved off.
Okay.
He had JCBs, it was a 24/7 operation. And as the roads were, dug out, he had another set of, truck coming and bringing that red soil, filling, and compacting machines, and then 40 jelly, and then baby jelly, and whatever. It was a completely 2 feet down from your existing road, which means the entire stretch was dug
and
2 feet.
Right.
All the old material was out, and then the roads were built. And even today, if you drive from Sarjapur to Bellandur, whatever is good. After that exercise, this road has not been done. Okay, it's 15 years.
Okay.
A road has been patchwork done, but a complete work along this entire stretch has not been done. If you take a car and drive from Domsandra to here, whatever is left of the road, you will feel that it's definitely better than
better quality
stretch.
That is true.
Of beyond Domsandra and beyond. Domsandra is a newer. Domsandra through Sarjapur is a newer side. It was done most recently after, I think there was some accident and a death or two happened, and the entire thing was locked, and the local villages created a lot of issue and things like that. So then abruptly his work stopped one day.
Okay.
So I have a habit. I can speak to anybody. I don't want to know who you are. I will step up and ask you, talk to you, strike a conversation if required. So I asked one of the drivers, what happened? Why is the work stopped? Sir, some payment, I believe the MLA is asking for some money and GVR is not ready to give. GVR said he's not giving any commission. When it came to the realization of why the work has stopped or stalled, apparently this came up. So until unless like our governance decides to put what is front, I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. Here, but the ground reality is what is in front of you and me. Let's face it. And when my classmate also said he's not ready to come on camera because he needs to pay 23%. Now that is a question that we need to introspect. I mean, like, what is happening? Where is the funding going? Where is the money going? Panchayat says, like they've got funding for ABC, but look at our roads. Is there a public toilet? No. We are happily spending, money on certain lavish temples.
Right.
I know we need temples, boss. We have enough temples. Direct that money, even if it is from the community, drive that money to prepare your own community, Why do you need a temple now? Aren't there enough sufficient temples? I can be shot down for saying this, but then it's a fact. It's something that you and me see, but nobody wants to voice.
The problem is, Deepak, even if they don't build that temple, still that money will go to somewhere else. They will not build road. They will not build infrastructure.
The other thing that has been really bothering me in the last few months is, and I went ahead and made a video and shared it with the corporators here. Nobody seems to want to take a look at it. Not that, like I crave for views on YouTube. That's my last of the priorities. But that's a platform which I believe can amplify the reach.
Absolutely.
There are these concrete mixing factories. There are about 5 or 8 of them.
Right.
You see the roads right in front of their factories. It's completely gone. Because first of all, we do roads which are just plastered. It's just painted. Our roads are painted. The asphalt is painted.
And these days, a lot of heavy vehicle movements are there.
And our roads are not meant for those kind of 10 tonners. It's a 10-wheelers, sometimes 16-wheelers, which bring in those raw materials, right? And at every turn, the pressure from the axle that gets transferred to the tarmac, it just pulls out, right? It just pulls out. So I made a video, I showed them, like this is what it is, you should not be having these kind of factories in city limits. These are something that needs to be outside.
Right. But I think, Deepak, what is happening, see, if you figure out all these bigger companies, let's for that matter, if you see the Whitefield, totally occupied by Prestige Group. Most of the properties are from Prestige. Do you think that, anyone who dare to take a chance with them?
No.
Because I believe they are the people who are controlling everything. I always believe this fact that the government actually doesn't control the place. These are businessmen who actually control it.
Yeah,
so it is very difficult.
That's where the money is.
If you know this place, this Vartur lake is there, right? Opposite to that also
was a lake. Now it is.
Today it is not a lake. It is a big property coming from Prestige. Now who is going to stop them? There are people who are buying it.
No,
and what is the price they're charging? 14,000, 15,000 rupees per square feet. Is that what they're charging? A 2-bedroom if you wanted to buy, it is more than 1.5 lakh, 1.5 crore or 2 crore. It goes at that price. I'm sure nobody can stop all this.
No, I've seen that place which was a lake.
It was an extension of the Vartur.
Yeah.
Yes. The water used to cross.
The Vartur to Whitefield Junction was a bund.
Yeah.
And the Vartur lake was here and there was a lake here. I mean, it was such a large
lake. The whole part is occupied now.
Yeah, the whole thing
this is the scene in the entire city. Now, whenever there is rain,
so when obviously,
of course, the water will go to your society. Because water has that memory. ये मेरा जगह था.
Rainbow Drive is the same thing, no? Rainbow Drive on Sarjapur Road is an outcome of such a thing only.
Right.
I mean, like every year, any flood, first thing is, like you will see, like canoes being pulled out. So there are memes going around saying that, now other than public transport of buses and autos, you need to have boats also in Bangalore.
Right.
Which is the true. I mean,
So ये कि एक तो road infrastructure है. So जो मैं tax का बात कर रहा था दीपक दा, 20% tax is like the highest in the country. Okay, but the infrastructure is definitely not up to mark. And देखिए, मैं जैसा मैंने बोला कि I really feel proud about Bangalore for a lot of things. Especially दीपक दा, I had been like traveling so much. The moment I land up in the airport at Bangalore, I feel like I'm back home.
Yeah.
होता नहीं कि you are always happy. So I feel happiness. But when I see the road,
lost it.
No, but I still feel the happiness.
Bulu,
But see,
I can contradict there a bit because it's no longer a feeling of happiness because you are getting into a world of chaos.
that is because you have seen the older Bangalore. I think so. Deepak, that comes to that question: ki, do the Kannadigas really hate outsiders? That's my question.
No, not really. I mean, as long as to your point specifically, I'll keep the out of state people out for a minute. Okay. Let me tackle our own state people. Now, KA13, which is Hassan. Now, I see a lot of their cars, and Hassan drivers are as good they are equally ruthless and bad. I mean, this is a statement. I mean, shoot me down, no problem. Auto, a three-wheeler, tuk-tuk, which is registered in Bangalore, can be ridden in Bangalore. Okay?
Right.
Now, this point needs to be highlighted. Somebody needs to take it to Mr. DKS, who is the infrastructure minister also for this city. Right. You have KA13, KA11, KA20, KA19, everybody else from our own state has come into Bangalore in their cars, taxis.
Right.
A taxi which is registered in Hassan or a taxi which is registered in Mangalore or Shimoga or Mysore. How are they allowed to ply in Bangalore when autos are not?
Achha, autos are not.
Autos are not.
Okay.
So point, because they are adding to your infrastructure, right? I'm not even talking about the outside station cars. I'm talking about our own state cars registered in a different city, which is being financed by a local bank of that city, of Mysore or Mangalore or Shimoga or wherever. But he is driving in Bangalore. He's a taxi, probably attached to Uber or Ola.
Right.
But an auto cannot. A KS09 cannot make his living in because Bangalore has got
a separate set of rules for autos and
exactly. But still they are yellow boards, right?
Right.
So why are you allowing? I mean, these guys are Ola and Uber. I mean, these are guys who are providing services to the needy. But why don't you have the same rule for Bangalore registered autos? Why are you allowing
the cars?
Different?
Okay.
And they also add to your, I mean, if such is the case, then let Bangalore investors invest on the taxis and let them generate. Why do you want to have? So what happens is, Mysore guy has got no clue about a Bangalore disciplined traffic. But he drives like he's driving in his small town. While I encourage him to earn his livelihood, I don't discourage that. He's earning his livelihood.
Right.
But one, the law needs to be relooked.
Right.
You cannot, if you're not allowing an auto guy from any of these cities to make Bangalore their home, please don't bring in these cars as well.
So basically you are talking about the riding habits or the style of riding, because these people who migrate from
that is what is lacking in the city now.
And it also applies to the other people. I mean, people who are coming from other states also.
Exactly. Now keep your driving habits back home.
Yes.
Adapt to your city that you have embraced to be your home.
Right.
This is something that we are not doing.
Right.
I've seen these outstation, other state cars opening their sunroof and allowing their kids to be, on the, outside, putting their head out of the glass roof, having kids in the driving seat. That's not our culture, man. Come on. That's not what we are for. That's not what the roads are for. Do it in your community surroundings, no? Don't do it on the main roads.
Right.
And if one lane is stopped, he stopped for something because there's some blockade in the front.
Right.
You don't need to come switch lanes because this lane is moving.
Yeah, sometimes you also get pissed off that one part of the road is occupied, the second part also these guys occupy, and you are coming from the other part, there is no space. And the other problem is that the moment you speak to them, the attitude is also different. I mean, that itself pisses you off. Already you are doing a mistake. And top of it,
we can go on and on, but then until and unless.
But then, Deepak,
I don't think I don't think the governance need to get involved here at all. It is self-realization that when I step out of my home today, I'm going to tell myself that no matter what, I'm not going to honk. I'm going to follow lane discipline, and I'm going to listen to music, and I'll not be single in the car. If I'm single in the car, then I will stop my car or someplace, hop onto a public transport. I mean, there are enough buses. I mean, let's not say, of course, buses are rickety, they're junk. KA57 buses, I mean, they're all very old and stinky inside and, like so dirty.
But the other thing is that the buses are already overcrowded. If you see, These buses, no, I don't see any empty buses.
I wish, like there was a movie of, I think first it was by some actor, and then the reason I know this is because Anil Kapoor, being
Nayak.
Chief Minister.
Nayak.
Nayak. So that is something, I'll be happy to don that role, and I'm happy to bring in change. When it comes to your, the buses, 500, which is the outer ring road, 500D and whatnot, outer ring road. There are so many buses going empty. Odd hours.
Right.
There are so many buses.
Management is not good.
They are fighting amongst themselves for that 1 or 2 people waiting at bus station.
Right.
You are just ignoring every other traffic on the road, and you just want to kill this guy and take that 2 and.
That's true.
Why can't the BMTC guys sit and back and manage and control that, boss,
based on
after
the demand.
11 until 2, you don't need so many buses. Stop those buses, no?
That's true.
Give that opportunity for single, because you have stopped them. Remember, we spoke, we pulled the single owner occupancy guys and we made them stop, right? So leave
Same
them.
for the buses. Right. No, that's true. So I think that management has to happen.
And during peak hours, and sometimes, I've waited 20-25 minutes, there
is no bus. Absolutely. That is
and that's the need of the hour.
I honestly want
you
to
say
travel.
you're overcrowded buses because everybody is wanting to log in at that 9 o'clock.
Right.
At 9 o'clock, there is only one bus. Boss, put 4 buses, no.
Right. But then, Deepak, again, the problem is that the other vehicles are also there.
Boss, your single occupancy buses, cars are not there.
Removing them.
I'm telling you, this needs to work in tandem.
I think the single occupancy thing is a great point that has to be highlighted, and government need to keep a check on it.
Yeah, and that's the time you need to increase your buses.
Absolutely.
So that way you are facilitating public transport. And in Bombay, what they do, this is fabulous. I can go on, bring in comparisons and give you examples from all over the world. And let me go to Bombay. 4 lanes. Okay? Peak hours. The outgoing traffic is single lane. Incoming traffic is 3 lanes.
They expand the roads. Yes. So the dividers are temporary dividers.
Exactly. Here you need to build walls. Otherwise, the Swiggies and Zomatos will jump.
No, as I said, look, one side they block, they also occupy the other side.
I'm going to target the Swiggies and Zomatos and outstation drivers, and I'm going to be killed on the road by one of these guys in very near future.
Already outstation guys are already frustrated because people are treating them as outside guys.
No, I don't.
And have you gone through those Instagram posts and where people say that go just move out from our street.
No, I would.
We don't want you.
No.
We don't want you guys to come here.
No. I would never do that because I hashtag myself as a global citizen, and I cannot encourage people to move out of my own city. No, I will not. I am not privy to that at all.
Right.
But what I am suggesting, and I would let this at the top of my voice, guys, keep your dirty driving habits back home. Adapt to the Bangalore traffic and make it a better place than what it is.
Right.
That way, you're bringing in change. If you are not changing, then
what is the point?
What's the point?
You're
just adding more, useless situations into the city which doesn't reach. It's already crumbling. It is gone.
Right.
You say 5 years Bangalore, I'm challenging you. Let's have this conversation in 2 years.
2 years.
And then see, what is happening.
Right.
2 years, this city will be unlivable if the situation continues the way it is. Infrastructure building will take 15 years, man.
Yes, that's true.
Your metros
in 2 years, nothing is going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen.
Right. But the population keeps growing.
Unless you change, simple changes. Do you really need that bigger car? Let's start there. I've been driving my WagonR for 17 years.
Right.
And I still believe that car is big enough for me. And it can take me places. Leh Ladakh bhi karenge chahiye. Like, it's not that, we cannot do it. It's just your state of mind. There are people who have been having cars for, God knows, donkeys years. So, first retrospect or introspect whether you really need a bigger car. Number one. Consciously, can you drive a change within your company by discouraging your friends to bring in their car?
That's true.
And encourage your HR to reach out to BMTC and encourage them to bring in more Volvos on specific routes.
Right.
and add more buses in more frequency so that more people. Outer Ring Road Association is a big association. Everybody is there. Everybody, every big company which has got this cabs and hiring spaces, everybody, they all need to make it as one voice.
Right.
And BMTC will dance to your tunes, man, because they are getting 100,000 employees for 1,000 rupees. That's guaranteed business. You are fueling the economy. You are bringing in new buses. I'm sure BMTC can give you good buses. Definitely can be done. Smaller buses, boss. I went to Bombay. Double-decker buses, AC double-decker buses.
Right.
Why can't we do it?
True. Why not? Why no?
The initiative needs to. Don't bring in the government. No, government has got enough problem. Let them handle it the way they think. But these are internal problems which HR and BMTC can handle. You don't need a government to tell you, boss, single. You need some, kind of support.
Right.
But who should be driving it? It's you and me. Should you be driving to office today? No, I'll take the public transport.
Right.
Can you oath it? That is all it takes.
जो रोड रेज हम लोग ने देखा उसका is this a reason कि because of the outside cars and all?
See, one, I believe unemployment is on the
peak.
A lot of companies which are laying off people.
Right.
That is one side of it. A lot of people, educated people, who are not getting a job.
Right.
Take for example, like our own state government announced 2,000 or 3,000 rupees monthly support for unemployed graduates or whatever. There is a scheme which the Karnataka Congress government rolled out, which I'm strictly against freebies.
Right.
I don't think we should have rolled out any freebies, because if you are earning, you pay for the services. As simple as that. If we all refer to Europe and Singapore, but do you know what kind of taxes those countries have got?
Right.
Those countries have got some humongous taxes. Nobody talks about that. But the taxes earned is very transparently invested back into the community. That is something that we lack.
So here we are paying taxes.
But I don't know where they are going. I mean, road tax. I mean, for me, I'm a road user, and I need to see better roads.
No, so, Deepak, I'll see. Now we pay road tax.
Okay. Where are we on the time?
No, we are already done with the time because Abhijit also has to leave. So, and maybe the batteries will also drain. But I wanted to. So I had this question in my mind about this tax. So first we are paying the road tax, which I said ki 20%. Okay. Apart from that, when you go on a highway, you also pay toll tax.
Yeah, that's central.
That is central. So now imagine, see, the point is you buy a car or bike or anything, for that you pay road tax for 15 years.
Yeah.
Top of it, again you use the highways, and for that you pay, at least on the highway you get good roads, and because of that you pay the toll tax. बट सिटी में फिर घूम फिर के वही आ जाते हैं कि भाई रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अच्छा नहीं है लेकिन टैक्सेस बहुत ज़्यादा है एंड दैट इज वन मोर रीजन फॉर विच एक्चुअली पीपल गेट देयर कार्स फ्रॉम दी होम टाउन. देखिए जो होम टाउन से गाड़ी लाते हैं ना उसका रीजन ये हो सकता है, अदरवाइज दे कुड ऑलवेज
घर से आप होम टाउन से गाड़ी लेके आइए, बट देन एटलीस्ट
आप उनका एटीट्यूड नहीं लेके आओ. और राइडिंग एटीट्यूड इन द सेंस इज द राइडिंग हैबिट. जो हमारे होम टाउन पे जो हैबिट आपका चल रहा है, यू ऑलवेज हैव टू अडॉप्ट टू द न्यू सिटी.
बैंगलोर इज ट्राइंग टू स्केल अप टू अ मेट्रोपॉलिटन.
Absolutely, हाँ.
But for whatever reason, they still not got that.
Right.
And the only way to do it is, by bringing in more discipline.
Absolutely.
Having a lot of patience. Try not to honk.
Right.
And always think that like the person ahead of you mobile phones have destroyed us. People
बातें करते हुए ड्राइव करते रहेंगे. यही तो होता है.
And cars also have provided you that feature, right?
Yes.
So phone connectivity, Bluetooth connectivity.
That's true.
Motorcycles, like they'll keep it, helmet open किया, कान के अंदर इधर घुसा दिया और बात करके चला रहा है. Helmet नहीं है ना, तो ऐसे करके चला रहा है. So and these are all people not from Bangalore. I can assure you that these are from smaller towns, smaller villages, who for them mobile is a luxury. And that's something they cannot get away with. It's an addiction.
Right.
And nowadays autos have got two mobiles. एक स्क्रीन पे उसका रूट चलेगा, एक में
वीडियो चलता है, रील्स चलता है.
Exactly.
I've seen these auto guys, they scroll on reels and they keep driving.
Yeah. So who should you blame?
बहुत चिढ़ाता है. Ola Uber में भी.
You should blame Jio and Airtel and the likes of it.
Ola Uber में
they made data so cheap.
हाँ, that's true. Ola Uber में ना, you will see the drivers continuously.
It's a good chat, but it's not going anywhere. End of the day, after like few millions of
this is never ending.
Platform, everybody will have a good laugh.
Right.
Everybody will say that like wow, what an engaging chat.
That's all.
Road पे जाओ, it will be the same thing. I mean, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here.
At least we'll try कि भाई लोगों से convince करते हैं कि यार अकेले मत जाओ. That is one change you can bring. कि try that कि if you are in Bangalore, try not to travel alone in your car.
Let it not be for Bangalore, right?
It can be for
across. I mean, you have a viewership of across the country or.
लेकिन हमें अभी लेना देना नहीं है किसी का, आपका सिटी ट्रैफिक होके चलेगा, हम परेशान ये आके थोड़ा सेल्फीज हम बनेंगे और बैंगलोर को पहले रेडी करना है, ठीक करना है. सी वन चेंज आई थिंक जो दीपक दा सजेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि यार सोलो ट्रैवल मत करो ऑन योर कार. That will make a huge change.
Yeah, and particularly during the peak hour, right? 8:30 to 11.
क्यों आप इमेजिन करो एक गाड़ी में एक आदमी जाएगा, चार आदमी चार गाड़ी चलाएंगे, या फिर एक गाड़ी में चार आदमी जाएंगे, फिर चार का एक गाड़ी हो जाता है, वो बेस्ट है. That is a very good suggestion, and I'm sure कि ये
I think you are very well connected in the senior. I think you referred to some friends in Microsoft. I mean, these are people who can drive. Right. Sitting with their HR.
Yes.
And getting their employees to drive the change to bring in public transport.
Absolutely.
Because today nobody can deny that Bangalore does not have public transport. They're there. It's better than like what it was 5 years back, right? But have we been using it? Because the minute we say public transport, people will say use less buses. But then we can make a change. Go to the BMTC guys, sit with them, and say boss, can you give me some good buses?
Right.
Can you give me a monthly deal? And it's like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is there. You just need to get into the wheel.
Right.
That's what it all is. End of the day, people should realize that it's an effort. It's all that takes. I was in business support and I could voice out these 4-5 options. But newspapers and media are like our mouthpieces. And there are certain things that needs to be driven by the grassroots, which is the HR in any company, right? So I had suggested one, work from home. So project manager is like we can sit in any part of the world and talk to any of our counterparts in any part of the world. I don't need a desk. What did COVID do? COVID put us into home, no?
True.
This was the suggestion that I had given in 2010.
See,
thereby these corporates will not invest on huge real estate.
Absolutely.
Huge
and
real
then
estate.
Also, not many people will travel to office.
Exactly.
But then there is where the politics is not.
Exactly. Now Wipro has built this 8 towers here.
Exactly.
Supposedly 25,000 employees. 25,000 employees. Now just imagine they are probably halfway up.
Right.
Another halfway, and then this road is dead.
Right. See, this is also one thing that the companies also has to focus ki yaar 50% time maybe work from home and all. There are companies, they want all their employees to be at office all the time.
Yeah.
This has also happened, okay. And this can be a pressure from the politicians as well. Because what I understand is
it's an economy,
half of these infrastructures are also owned by politicians. So you can't, उसमें हम कुछ कर ही नहीं सकते हैं. But हाँ, एक चीज मुझे लगता है कि यार बैंगलोर
I'm sure we're gonna get pulled up for this.
नहीं कोई नहीं, I don't think.
Somebody is gonna get into this.
No. See, this is
इन दोनों बंदों को पकड़ के लेके.
See, okay, we'll come there. Actually, मेरा खास बात क्या पता है दीपक दा? For me, I don't have a dependency on any of the cities that I have to stay.
Yeah.
People like me, we can always migrate to a different city and can do the work. Yeah. But it is about likingness and loving a city, okay? Yeah. But हाँ, जैसे बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स के बारे में बात किए, one of them is the language thing. Okay, I am really trying. I know कि lot of Kannadigas guys will say कि यार आप खुद ही बात नहीं करते हो. See, कभी-कभी कुछ चीजें ना लोगों के लिए डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है.
Simple things, यार. Like ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ. That's it. You say that in your dialect,
yes.
your vocabulary.
Right.
People will laugh, but then
they like it. So overall अगर हम लोग देखेंगे तो बहुत सारा discussions हो गया, लेकिन still there are a lot of things to discuss. So for that,
I think it's basically an individual's perspective.
Absolutely.
Whether you want to do it.
Yes.
We can only voice it out.
Right.
These are suggestions. Over and above this, there will be more suggestions that will come into your mind as well.
Absolutely.
So is it something that you can drive it?
Right. So ये बात देखो, personal suggestion जैसे दीपक दा ने बोले, तो it is all our views. आप लोग डेफिनेटली कमेंट्स में बताइए कि व्हाट इज एग्जैक्टली योर फीलिंग और योर व्यूज. यू माइट बी a guy who is born and brought up in Bangalore. You might be someone who is from a different city and you are settled here for last couple of years or months. And I know the traffic and everything is a problem for everyone. It is not just you or me, it is for everyone. So together I think couple of things we can sort it by ourselves. जैसे दीपक दा सजेस्ट किए, couple of things like traffic management के लिए कुछ ना कुछ तो हम अपने लेवल पे कर सकते हैं. So that's all about it, friends. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's a long video of course. Editing करेंगे फिर डाल देंगे. दीपक दा end करेंगे.
Thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity to speaking my mind, and I hope people take it positively. There's nothing against anyone.
Right.
There's nothing against anybody from any state.
Right.
But it's an individual introspection that's really the need of the hour for a better Bangalore.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.